What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Game, your one source for everything cool in video games. You can be a part of our show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up on Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. We got another awesome episode. So what is it on this week's show? Here it is. It's the rundown.
I'm going to say the first thing I kind of thought of was like Ori and the Blind Forest kind of vibes as far as what the graphics look like in this game.
I've got mobile mention this week, and I'm becoming an unlikely or unruly hero.
And really, what makes this an even bigger deal is that Halo Infinite was announced to be free to play for the multiplayer.
And any controls or what the objective of the game is, all it says is just pay attention to your surroundings.
Guys, we have a very unique discussion this week because we're pitting PlayStation against a service. Not another console, but Game Pass. Looks like another good one, so let's get lost in words with Steve and Corey.
Steve, I don't know if you're at a loss for words, but I'm definitely speechless in this one.
A young girl named Robin. She was kind and loved taking care of the world around her. But inside, she was still curious about the world that lay beyond.
Steve, this week we're checking out a pretty cool one. It's a side-scrolling, story-heavy game, Lost Words Beyond the Page. This is a pretty interesting style game. Like I said, it has this kind of side-scrolling, I'm going to say the first thing I kind of thought of was like Ori and the Blind Forest kind of vibes as far as what the graphics look like in this game. It's a very beautiful kind of artistic styling game. And we follow the main character, a young girl, and kind of through the trials and tribulations of her life. And it's kind of all told through her journal. And the way the game's kind of played out is the platforming aspect is actually you're jumping the character through the words of the journal. And you're using kind of different abilities that you gain along the way as a guardian of Astoria, the kind of the story that this girl is telling. And it's a really interesting kind of way, and it's a cool perspective, I thought, of kind of a way to tell a story in a game and kind of play through it. What did you think of this kind of unique side scroller?
I actually like this. I was very surprised. I thought, oh, it's a good journal game. It's going to be a lot of either text or just paying a lot of attention to the words and everything. But I think this way was very clever how they done. So you start off, like I say, you have the journal, but not all the words are on the pages. So you play Izzy, as you said, like a young girl this is the journal, and you have a little sketch of Izzy on top of the words. And the idea is like, as you walk along the words, she tells a story. The narrative is beautiful. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. And then to continue what the rest of the journal, there'll be a start on the start of the words on another page, and you have to jump across, drop down and walk along the words to tell the story. But also you'll have certain words that are highlighted. So if you jump on the words, it might bring up a watercolor picture to carry on with the story, and it will be saying something like, oh, here's my exam report or my report card. Hope mum doesn't see it. Can I burn it? Yeah. Or can I set it on fire? But the word fire be highlighted from the journal, and you grab that word and then, be extinguish. If I can extinguish the fire, then you grab the word extinguish and you put the flames out.
Yeah. And
then you carry on. And I just thought it's very, very clever how they done this. But also this is more of the personal side of her everyday for normal life.
Mm-hmm.
And her nan encouraged her to be creative in a fantasy and use this journal. So then you have the fantasy side as well, which is based in Astoria. So you play Izzy as this warrior, or actually it's decision-based.
Mm-hmm.
So you can decide the type of character you want to be, and the idea is to fight off a dragon to protect your village. And then which then goes into the 2D side-scrolling platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this game kind of it surprised me with all the different elements it had. I mean, at the first, we came off a game where we kind of got this empty story, and now we're jumping into this one, and you know what? it's a lot richer than you think. You know, that if you take it for face value, you might not actually enjoy this game as much as you could, because like you said, the narration in this game is beautiful. Though the way the story's told, you don't have to focus as much on the words on the page necessarily, because it's like listening to an audiobook almost. It's just told so beautifully, and you get invested in this character, and you get invested in her family and the life and the decisions you have to make for her along the way. Like you said, whether it be in Astoria or in her real life journal, you're making decisions all the way, and it kind of, you know, lays the groundwork for how the story is going to be told throughout. And I just thought the way it was kind of all put together was done so well. You get the ability of using this kind of word book throughout the 2D side-scrolling portion, and you're kind of getting to use these words to elevate platforms or repair things to allow you to move farther on. Like, being able to have these kind of abilities while you're playing through these stories is actually really cool. You know, you can just stack a word on the page somewhere just so you can platform to the next area, and then use a special ability and keep moving. I mean, there's a lot of elements in this game that you wouldn't necessarily expect if you just kind of jumped in and, you know, you were just kind of thinking it was going to be just a story, right? This game's a lot more than a story, and they've done a good job here. They really get you involved emotionally. They make you feel, like I said, so invested in some of these characters that when you have to make these decisions, you think to yourself, how would you make this decision if this was you and you were in the character's shoes, right? So that's a sign of a good game, right? That's a sign of, you know, the developers have done something great here. They've managed to get you involved in their story to the point where, you know, you're not sure if you're making the right choice or not, right? So I really enjoyed that aspect of this game. This game was really enjoyable for me.
Oh, definitely. And like you said, using the words to move stuff. I did love the art style of the 2D. Like you said, it was very visually good on the eyes. Like I said, using the words break, and then you get to the end of that part of the story, then you jump back to normality, back to Izzy, and obviously her very special bond that she has with her nan. Like you said, I won't say too much as a spoiler. I believe the game is probably, I think, about 4 to 5 hours long, and we played it on the Xbox as well on that one. So I think we've covered everything, Corey.
Yeah, man.
So I'm going to say to you is, where are you going to score this one?
Well, you know what, Steve? I don't play a ton of these games. These aren't my style of game. They're not my go-to. So I kind of always approach these, you know, a little more cautiously, because I try to keep an open mind. And this game really surprised me. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun playing it. And, you know, there isn't too many. You can't really, you know, replay this one a ton. So, I mean, there's not a ton of things to knock about this experience. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you could run back and maybe try different scenarios or different, you know, ideas or different decisions, and see how that turns out for you. But other than that, there isn't a ton of replayability, so that kind of takes a few points off. But overall, this experience was great. It was beautiful. I had a ton of fun. I gotta give this one a 7.5.
Nice. I'm like you. I was very open-minded, and I'm scoring this again on the genre of game, and I think this was very well, beautifully put together. It's for all ages, definitely for the more younger ones. I think it's good, especially like the emotional side of it, like especially with the bonds with Izzy and her nan. I like the word, like I said, everything, the way it was set out, I really liked, and I'm going to give this a 7.
Nice.
She looked at her burning treetop village.
Lost Words Beyond the Page is a very unique narrative 2D side-scrolling platform game with stunning visuals and audio. The puzzles are not too hard, so makes this suitable for all ages.
She needed to get to the fireflies.
I've got mobile mention this week, and I'm becoming an unlikely or unruly hero.
Only 4 truly unruly heroes can turn back that dark tide and restore order to heaven and earth.
I took to the iPad this week and I got to check out Unruly Heroes. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up platforming game that has been, honestly, a nice surprise. The game is technically out on all consoles, platforms, everything, but it feels fit and at home on the mobile platform. My iPad seemed to be intuitive and right where I wanted it all to be, with the platforming to the combat mechanics. The game is just visually stunning. Overall, you have 4 unlikely heroes who are set out on a quest to gather up parts for the scroll that has been shattered and torn apart. It is a simple and yet engaging story that kept me going and wanting more, and the beautiful art direction had me feeling a bit about Will of the Wisps kind of a scenario, and of course, that's my style, and it was awesome. If you're looking to upgrade your characters and such, well, they have a few options, nothing too extensive, but it is here for you to check out and upgrade as you collect coins throughout the worlds. If you're looking for your next game on a mobile device, then I think you should look no further than Unruly Heroes. This is a must-have on the mobile platform. I did touch on the fact that it is on consoles if you want to check it out there as well, but if you want something a little bit more on the go, this is your game.
As if Game Pass could get any better. I mean, we're getting titles like MLB The Show showing up on Game Pass. It's finally coming to Xbox and we're getting it on Game Pass. I mean, that's amazing. But we're also hearing some leaks about a new EA title, a DICE Studio AAA shooter. This is all coming from Xbox-centric podcast, Xbox Era. They posted a tweet where actually one of the commentators went on to say exactly that there is an EA, AAA third-person or first-person shooter, dropping, and it could be coming to Game Pass day one. I mean, if we're going to be getting the new Battlefield game on Game Pass day one, they said fall. I've heard fall, early holiday season, so maybe August to November window, somewhere in there. I mean, if we could get Battlefield, Battlefield 5 was a bit of a disappointment. As a fan of the series, it felt like a step back. So I know a lot of fans are looking forward to the next game and they're hoping it's going to be huge. I mean, there has been other kind of leaks and things kind of rumored that, we may be looking at 128 player matches, which would be amazing. And they're also talking about destruction at a scale and kind of a level that we've never seen before. And it's kind of all brought to you by the next gen consoles and the power of those machines. So it'll be really interesting to see, over the coming weeks, if we're supposed to be getting any trailers or we're going to hear anything. This game hasn't actually been officially launched. It may not even be called Battlefield 6, but honestly, I think we just need something. So hopefully we're going to get a trailer or something here soon. They have said that we are going to get something spring 2021, so if that's now, I'm really hoping we're going to be getting that, coming up shortly, but it's going to be fingers crossed. It's all rumors right now. But you know what? I'm thinking we're gonna be playing this one on Game Pass day one. I'm excited.
Alright, so exciting news in regards to esports and Halo Infinite. In a recent tweet from Tashi, the head competitive lead from Halo Infinite, recently said that their date and venue has been set for the first ever Halo Infinite Halo Championship. That was a little bit of a mouthful. But that all to say, this is very exciting news. I'm a huge fan of esports, mostly in the Rainbow Six side of things. But with all this great hype about Halo Infinite, I'm really excited to see the competitive side of things. From also a recent tweet, it sounds like they're really going to be hammering down on creating a full ecosystem, putting lots of work onto the broadcast side of things, and just really vamping up the esports side of Halo. I just cannot wait. And really, what makes this an even bigger deal is that Halo Infinite was announced to be free to play for the multiplayer. So that's crazy. Recently, you don't even have to have Xbox Live Gold to play free-to-play games. So this is their way of really just opening up Halo to the world in almost all aspects. Esports, free-to-play side, the competitive side. It's just awesome. I cannot wait to see what November has in store for us, because that's when I predict when Halo's coming out.
If you haven't heard yet, then I've got some great news to share with you, as one of the most largest anticipated video game events is back this year and is taking place between June the 12th and June the 15th. Now E3's been around since 1995, and in 2017 was the first time it was open to the public if they wanted to attend, and unfortunately got cancelled last year due to the pandemic. So this year E3 is now going virtual. Now we know this will work, as we've seen from previous showcase and Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest that happened last year. I have to say there's some big names confirmed, as we have Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, Warner Bros. Games and Koch Media. It's unclear if Sony or Square Enix is going to attend, as they never attended the last E3 event, so it's assuming that they'll probably run their own showcase later on this year. Everyone at ITG is really looking forward to this event, so why don't you come and join us and hang out at twitch.tv/theofficial ITG and join in the conversations and your opinions on what you think of this event.
Steve, this week we're going for a walk in the woods.
Let me tell you a story. You'll like this one. It's about you.
We all live with our actions, our consequences. But do you?
I could never make sense of you. And now this? How dare you?
This week, Steve, we're checking out a walking sim called Fabled Woods. This one's kind of an interesting game. We don't play a ton of these games. It's a genre that I think kind of gets lightly touched on because it's kind of fits into a niche, fan base, I think. These games are very slow paced, they're very story driven. Sometimes there's some investigative elements to it, and this game does have all of that. But what I noticed is there's only a 1 hour runtime here with this game, so I found my experience to be short and kind of empty. What did you think jumping into this one, Steve?
Well, first off the bat was my loading screens. When I first started it, I had 3-minute load screens just to get into the game, and I was getting bored just waiting for that, considering I knew how long the game could be and what was involved. But straight off, visually it looks beautiful. So you start off, as you said, we start off in the forest, all the trees, you've got your path and everything, and you move around. And when I say move around, I might as well just go like this and put a VR headset, as I had a major issue with my field of view, which basically means everything felt close, but the angle was wide. And about 20 minutes, I actually started feeling sick.
Oh, yeah, that's not what you want to have happen, that's for sure.
No, I don't know if it was also a little bit laggy as well when I was moving, or the mouse was a bit oversensitive to move around. But it just made me feel nauseous. So we play this on Steam, so it's just mouse and keyboards. You just use the mouse to move around, and left click is to pick objects up or items, because that's the point of the game. You have to go around, find out what the story is about. It's a narrative story as well, and I have to say the voiceover was really cool. I did like the voiceovers on it. It does keep you involved in the game. But that's as far as it went, because there's no explanation of why you're in the forest and any controls or what the objective of the game is. All it says is just pay attention to your surroundings.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, they kind of tried to pack this kind of detailed story into a 1-hour experience, and it just, like I said, it felt a little empty. I mean, we follow the storylines of 3 people and kind of their interactions and how their stories intertwine in this, what we're gonna call, it's kind of a missing persons murder type thing going on in the woods here. It's a kind of a, it's an enthralling story. It's something you want to get interested in. But again, outside of the pretty good voiceovers, the environment looked beautiful. I thought the music was really well done as well. But you don't get invested in these characters, Steve. Like, there's no substance to them. You learn very little about them, just quickly why they're where they are and what they're doing. But there's really, other than the fact that they're just in the same place at the same time, these characters really don't connect at all. So for me, it was you didn't get as involved in this one as you want to. And these games need to grip you from the beginning, especially with the story, because the gameplay elements here are light. And these games are usually light on these elements, but this game in particular, like you said, you literally just pick up items, you look at them, that's it. Some of them don't even offer anything for you. You basically just walk around, you press spacebar to use this memory vision to essentially allow you to kind of see the scene in a different kind of time frame. You get to see what happened, and it gives you some clues. It kind of allows you to advance the story beyond it. And again, you're just looking for an item to click on it to kind of open up the next passageway to get on through the story. And I mean, I like the idea of the game, but again, there was nothing here that made me just want to keep on playing. Honestly, the best part about it was that it was only an hour long.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did not like the memory at all, the space bar, because it just puts like a red filter over the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And what it does, it looks like it's trying to imitate like your eyes shutting. It will kind of close like that and then open it, which is slow. And then you got the filter, and I think it lasts for about, 10 seconds or something like along that line. But again, with me feeling a bit nauseous with the movement, and then just keep, because I wasn't 100% sure yet to go to a location, look at the memory to look for the clue. So I was hitting the spacebar quite a lot.
Yeah.
And every time it kept going, click, and the movement and everything just made me feel even worse playing this game. But all you do is just walk from point A to point B. You can't deviate off the path, it won't allow you to. And then when you get to one point, then you'll say hit the memory bar, or hit the space bar for the memory, and then you look for one clue. And then once you find it, if it's an axe or a sword or something, then it sort of goes white, and then it takes you to another part of the screen, which I guess is it the memory?
Yeah, it's like kind of like a dreamscape, dreamland. It's like almost like an area of kind of realization for that character and their storyline. But again, it's just a rocky, craggy path that takes you basically from one point to the next. During this time, you're getting kind of a narration about the character and some things that are going on. But like nothing just grips you here, man. It's just, I guess, there's not a whole lot else we can say about this, Steve. I mean, the game is only an hour long. It's $20 on Steam. So, I mean, it's kind of, I'm going to say a buyer beware just on that. I think $20 is a little too much for what you're getting here. But if we got to score this one, man, what are you going to give it out of 10?
Well, for me, I mean, I'm going on just on my experience. I knew there was a couple of updates, which I think they sorted some of the issues, and I think there was other issues as well about picking objects up. But for me, feeling nauseous, the load screens of like up to 3 minutes, just walking from A to B, I'm giving this a 3.5.
You know what? I'm down there with you, man. This game, walking sims, like I said, are a very niche genre. They have to have a good story, and this one just didn't have, one with enough content. It had the right ideas, I think. Again, the environment looked amazing. I put ray tracing on this game, looked great. But honestly, I was glad once it was over. I can only give this one a 2. A great-looking walking sim with well-done voiceovers, but the short runtime and lack of story depth make this one hard to recommend.
Nothing here either except animal bones. Again. I remember finding it a little odd that I never once caught sight of a deer, or anything that they could have come from. Strange.
Guys, we have a very unique discussion this week because we're pitting PlayStation against a service. Not another console, but Game Pass. What does PlayStation need to do to counteract the flying success that Game Pass has seen? Nate, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, man, I think the real question is, like, what do they have up their sleeve?
Yeah.
And I think the answer is they don't really have much, man. Because in all fairness, with all that's going on, them closing down the PlayStation stores, they would definitely have some sort of counter for it. Be like, don't worry, we're going to be doing this, or, we're going to be buffing PS Now, or we're going to be incorporating that into the PlayStation Plus, something like that. But no, they've just, kept silent,
right?
Which maybe they are kind of like that. But at the same time, man, with all the hot press around Xbox, that's literally what the internet is talking about for the last month.
Yeah.
It's like, you'd think they'd want us to be like, okay, PlayStation's got this up their sleeve, or, they're cooking up something soon for this summer. What do you think, Corey?
You know what, man? I think the smoke and mirrors thing here with Sony, it's not happening. Right now, they're just getting straight up outpaced by Game Pass. There's more, they offer more, the variety's there. There's games, coming in and out of the service. We're getting AAA titles. We're getting the show. So I mean, right there, that's a huge win for Xbox over PlayStation. Thank you, MLB, for finally making that happen. But at the same time, like my news article today was Battlefield 6 could possibly be dropping on Game Pass day one. And I mean, everybody that's played Battlefield 5 is really waiting for Battlefield 6. So it's just one of those things where if we're going to be getting big titles like that dropping regularly on this service, included with all these other games to choose from, there's just a larger audience to appeal to when, PlayStation's dropping Avengers this month. Well, that's a great game. Don't get me wrong. That game is awesome to a point. And so when I'm done playing that game because, I'm out of content or I'm not into it anymore, what else do I jump into? I only have one or two other titles to choose from that are free that month. When Game Pass, I can just jump into whatever I want. I mean, there's so many titles.
So,
it just blows my mind.
Here's the catch. Like, PS Plus, they have been killing it with their games.
Yes.
But they're games that, like, most players already have, or like their big fan base. Like Game Pass, you get games day one with included in your package. You know what I mean? So it's like Days Gone. Most people that wanted to play it already did. So,
absolutely. No,
I don't know. It's like, it's great. You're getting 7-month-old games, or a game that had maybe 25,000 tops on Steam playing it. You know what I mean? Like
there's definitely a big shift we're starting to see with Xbox taking over with the whole Game Pass. That's why I said we're putting PlayStation right now against Game Pass. Think about that, right? It's not PlayStation versus Xbox. It's a service we're putting PlayStation against. We're doing that because we're starting to see the rise. We've seen the rise now for a while with Game Pass and how successful it has become. Jim Ryan says he just doesn't see it happening long term and lasting. It seems to be paying off pretty well, I think. This monthly service, right? Like, think about that. A monthly service that we all pay for. You get Ultimate Game Pass. What's that, $20 a month? From me, from Nate, Corey, from Adam, from Scott. Like, we're all in. Every month, we're in there. And we're just... there's like 5 of us, 6 of us, right? Like, that's nobody. There's 20 million users for Game Pass. 20 million, okay? PlayStation Now is a streaming platform with a couple downloadable titles. These are all old titles. We're not getting day one titles over there. They have 2.2 million users. So if you want to compare apples to apples, dude, Jim Ryan may want to rethink about his structure over here and see what he can do to catch up, because Game Pass is now starting to take a landslide away from PlayStation. PlayStation 4 came and it took the mind share easily from Xbox. They won the generation for PS4. This time around, I'm starting to see things slowly change over because of Game Pass, not because of Xbox, because Game Pass is everywhere. Whether you want to be on the cloud, on your PC, or on your console, Game Pass can be found almost everywhere, and it'll be shortly coming to your TVs. So it'd just be included, right? So what's PlayStation do? PlayStation needs to figure out something. They need to, PlayStation years ago bought Gaikai. Gaikai was their service to now, which is now launched as PlayStation Now. They need to match what they're doing with Xbox, or somehow figure out to kind of pass them, right? But then drop the day one titles. I don't think they want to do that. I don't think that's PlayStation's model whatsoever. They want to see the numbers drop. So when Last of Us Part 2 drops, you pay day one. You're not going to get that on some kind of service like Game Pass. They want you to bring out your money. And that makes me, I see a lot of people shifting. Dude, a lot of people now, from what I've seen, are starting to actually put their PlayStations down and shift to Xbox because of Game Pass alone.
No, it's wild, Drew. I completely agree, because the fact is PlayStation took the new next gen console launch by storm. Let's agree. They won the launch over Xbox. And the one thing we slighted Xbox for was kind of the fact that, you know, the only thing they were really offering was Game Pass. And I mean, at the time, it's not because it was a bad service at all. I mean, it was still really great. I mean, it's just a few months ago, really. But at the same time, it's like, well, we wanted the exclusives. But again, once those exclusives run out, if you're not, you know, backing them up with anything else afterwards, i.e. free games every month, I mean, they've always prized themselves in the fact that the games they put out every month of being the quality games, right? Over quantity, right? They're not giving you a pile of games to choose from. They're giving you, you know, 2-3 solid titles. Whether they're, you know, years old or whatever they may be, they're still solid games. But that model isn't working anymore. People want as much content as they can grab. So honestly, until PlayStation makes a Game Pass, an exact model, they're never gonna pass. I don't see how they could.
I just don't think that they will. I don't think that's in the PlayStation brand, right?
No, man. We saw the shift years ago with movies and how Netflix just kind of came in by storm. And now that everyone's got their streaming services everywhere. And, like, I don't see games necessarily... Like, people are always going to want to buy games. But, I don't know. It's definitely, like you guys said, man. Like, it's the new era. And PlayStation really needs to, I think, reevaluate, you know, moving forward and maybe 2022 how they're going to do things.
Step the game up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely interesting to see the big shift, because that's what I said. We're not talking about Xbox. We're talking about Game Pass. We want to know what you guys think at InsideTheGame.ca, or join us on Discord, where there the community is hopping, and so is this topic. Nate, did you find them? We're on the hunt for fragments.
Yes, we are.
Nate, you and I jumped into game preview with The Last Oasis, a survival game based on building walkers. We've been on the hunt for fragments, which then turn into other currency later on in the game, and that's a whole other ball of wax we'll get into, because that one's difficult, man, to get into here, because you need to find certain little segments where you build to transition into your fragments, but I can't seem to find any. That's the hiccup. There's other, man. Okay, let's just. It's huge. The game is huge, but yet the game is empty. Make sense?
Oh man, it's very like, so basically each segment of the map is kind of has the same style of layout. You come in from one of the 6 sides of the hexagon, and it's all sand and barren with the occasional set of ruins where you get like 3 fragments sometimes.
Yep.
You know, so then once, you know, basically the center of the hex has little multiple kind of tropical areas, and that's where you get a lot of the juicy resources. But even when you're in there, man, it's just like the same styles of trees. You're hitting the same rocks over and over, the same bushes you're picking. It's all very much the same, and it's kind of just barren feeling. Again, even the enemies that you attack,
Yeah.
you're fighting mostly just these Rupus, they're called, which are fun. Like, combat's fun, but you're just fighting Rupu
unique.
sentinels and shamans and basic troops, and occasionally there's just these pink creatures that you can kill. It's just, that's it. Like, my experience with survival games, man, is Ark, and I know that's more of a game based on having all the different creatures, but that variety, even in the biomes on just one map, it's just, that's what this game is lacking.
No, I think you're right. I think you nailed that part, right? It does feel empty. It is a desert, which in a desert is pretty deserted, but it's weird because when you're out in the desert, I hear like rattlesnake noises and then birds chirping. I'm like, I look around, there's nothing out here. It's just kind of, I'm like, okay,
no wildlife.
The noise is there, but I don't see anything. It's but the hook though is grinding for materials to build your next walker, to build another set of gear, to build. That's, dude, I love just chilling out and relaxing to go out and start gathering resources so I can work towards building my next walker. And it's got this hook, and it's sunk me in. The frustrating part is when there is, because it's a PvP scenario as well, it's the other players that are more concerning than anybody else, just like any other survival game. But dude, I'm in a little walker, and I was on my way out. I saw some other guy over on his walker who actually just hung a hard right to come right at me, chase me down. Right? I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm just trying to get my stuff to get, now I'm getting out of the game. So now I'm trying to run as fast as I can on my walker. This dude zip lines, hooks my walker. He gets me. Well, him and I start fighting on top of my walker. I killed the guy. I was like, this is awesome. I actually didn't lose for once, because we'll touch on that in a second, how that works. Because I won. I'm like, this is fantastic. I looted him for once, because I never get to do that. You know, achievement pops. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I hit B, and it actually kicked the character and sunk me into the walker, and I was stuck.
And
dude,
you were stuck
move.
to then die.
I died because the guy came back, who then killed me, picked me up, threw me off my walker. Now, I was also gathering resources to gain enough water to store in my walker, because it acts as a spawn point. If you don't have enough water in your walker, you're stranded to either bail out altogether or get thrown somewhere in the middle of the desert, miles and miles away from your walker. Dude, it is so frustrating to get trolled by somebody to find out you don't have enough walker or enough water on your walker for you to spawn back at that point. Instead, I'm now forced to truck 10 minutes, like 10, 15 real-time minutes across an empty desert to go get my walker to find out if it's either been destroyed or not. And most times, it's not been destroyed. People don't care. They just want to kill you and then move on. I'm like, come, just leave me alone and let me just gather my resources.
Dude, what I think this game needs, like Ark has, or had at least, is PvE servers, man. And
yeah,
you know what they do in this game already in the PvP servers is they burn up the map every, I don't know how many weeks or days it is, but that's kind of the simple solution, so people aren't, you know, trolling on maps and PvE, because that's one thing that's the problem, is people like to build, man, like just build a thing here, so that you're stuck not being able to build in this area, you know what I mean? Like they just, there is a frustrating side to it, but I think that's what this game needs, because I played earlier and I, for about 8 hours, man, had zero problems. I ran into a few people, the chat was pretty busy, and everyone was saying they were friendly and offering trading. So like, there's a great side of this game, and like you said, man, those hooks get you like, I played for 8 hours straight because I was really enjoying it, building up my walker, upgrading it, and then, you know, finding those fragments, because basically the big thing with this game is finding fragments to then upgrade your character, because there's a wide variety of things to upgrade. You got potions, you're upgrading your walker specifically, you got equipment, tools, the list goes on, just buildings to acquire. There's a massive grind to this, but it all stems kind of from fragments.
It does, right? It's got this, the minute you start, the snowball kind of builds, and it builds bigger, and it goes bigger, because the more you dive in, the more you need to gather, the more equipment you need to build that'll allow you to get this other piece over here and allow you to grab that over there. Like I'm getting earth wax, or then I'm getting some kind of gum stuff that I need, but I need, in order to do that, I have to grab enough fragments, because I have to unlock this skill over here. Dude, it is so cool. But all I really want, yeah, you're right, you nailed it. A PvE server, and dude, I'm in for hours.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because again, you know what they have too? They have markets on these maps. So like, I actually went and checked it out. Gives you a little 15-minute PvP timer, so you're not getting attacked by anyone else who's there.
Yeah.
So, but again, it was really cool. But I go there and it's kind of bland. Like, there's no one walking around in the market. I go and I find this random thing that I click Y to trade on, and then I tried for 10 minutes to buy fragments that these players were selling, and it wouldn't let me, man. I don't know if the game's broken or if my mind's broken, but I'm telling you, they kind of like we touched up on, the menu systems in this game are atrocious. They really need to knuckle down and just
it.
Yeah, honestly, like the whole Destiny cursor, the cursor, I think would almost be better in this case. Because, man, there's just X and Y often do reverse things. Why is that a thing? In any case, it is beyond my like knowing. It's ridiculous.
Nate, we're gonna wrap this up. This is in game preview. Remember that this is the last Oasis, and for me, dude, it's got its hooks. Definitely got some issues that need to iron out over Donkey Crew. They're working on it. They know some of these issues. Hopefully we were able to help out and point out a couple more maybe that they can solve and just polish that game up to where we think it can be, right? We definitely want more characters, more creatures, more within the environment itself. You go into the main hub of the map, that should be alive and full of things to do, where it still just feels kind of empty. I'm looking for a little bit more. But again, that grind to build and build and build, it's just, dude, it has me hooked. And if that's what something you're looking for, I've got to recommend it. It's that cool. It is so cool, these walkers.
Man, you pretty much summed it up really well. I also love the fact that they've added crossplay. So if you want to play on a crossplay server with your PC friends that have been playing this for a while, you're more than welcome to. So everything's aligned. Even just they do have some quality of life things that I do really enjoy. Even just hopping back in your character, like when you log into the map, it's just right there in the top left. You don't have to like try to search your server like on lots of other games I won't get into. But I honestly, I'm gonna have to recommend this to the diehard, but stay away if you're not really into the grind. Last Oasis is recommended to those who love the grind, because there is a hook with building up your walker and the gear. But the game is a little barren and lacks in variety. Hopefully in future updates, there will be more than the likes of Rupus to hunt down. And that's about it. Like, my experience with survival games is the likes of like Ark, where there's just an immense amount of wildlife and
Baby Shark by Pink Fong from Spotify.
Oh man, what the hell?
Alexa, stop. Alright, this week I'm here to conclude Doom Eternal's Ancient Gods Part 2. Alright, Doom Eternal's Ancient Gods Part 2 DLC is here, and it was wicked. The story takes place right where you left off. You have summoned the Dark Lord, and you must fight him in ritual combat. But you cannot fight him where you are. You have to travel to Emoria and go through an entire gauntlet of demon killing on the way there to then fight him and destroy all of the demons outside of the realm. So since you can't fight the Dark Lord right away, you must travel to the World Spear, where you must find an ancient mysterious artifact to grant you access to Amoria. So what this game does, man, oh my gosh, it is awesome. Basically, what you do as Doom Guy is you fight through all these demons, and along the way, you actually summon some help, because the rest of the world and the realms around you, they see that you are fighting the Dark Lord to stop all the demons from taking over everything. So this game, what it does is it brings full-on Doom Eternal Warfare, man. I sat there for a half an hour just watching and looking around the maps because they were so flippin' cool.
Come, brothers, let us tremble before our might.
So let's head straight into what's new. We got new creatures. We have the Armored Baron. Yes, the Baron of Hell now has a massive suit of armor that you can only take down by shooting it with your plasma rifle or hitting the weak spot on his gun when it goes to just blast you. So again, this is a cool creature that's just been modified and stacked up. Another creature too is the Cursed Prowler. This one is by far probably one of the more frustrating things in the game. The Prowler is this vanishing creature that teleports and smashes you. So the Cursed Prowler, what it does is, well, it curses you when it attacks you. And when you're cursed, you can only kill the Cursed Prowler with a blood punch. It doesn't allow you to jump it lets you jump, but you cannot double dash, or you lose all your sense of mobility. It's awful. As soon as you're cursed, you have to get that thing right away, and you can't even just kill it with guns. So I think one of the more tougher additions to the game was the Screecher demons. Now these demons, it's basically just your little mook zombie that's been possessed, and when you kill it, it puts a huge explosion around it, and that just buffs all the demons around it. It is insane, because one of these fights, I'm not gonna say what's in it, but it really does stack the odds against you. Again, with some new things to kill, we have the Demonic Troopers. Now these guys, they are as simple and as basic as it is to kill them. You just shoot them and then they explode. But they're kind of fun to kill. They're just, some of these parts, there's just a ton of them, and you just kind of just slay them, mow them all down. It is absolutely awesome. Another creature to take note of is the Riot Soldier. This is the soldier with the shield, except the shield you cannot penetrate. It is 100% invincible. You are stuck either throwing a grenade behind this guy or using your rocket launcher with the detonate perk. And sometimes in some of these fights, when you get stuck against these guys, you're like, it just adds a whole moment of panic. And the last creature that they've introduced is the Stone Imp. And this is pretty cool. The Imp is one of the most basic demons in the game, but the Stone Imp has a few more attacks, and you can't kill it with regular weapons. They force you to use your combat shotgun in full auto, which then when you kill it, it actually drops shotgun ammo. So it's pretty cool. They have just a couple more interesting ways of killing demons added to this DLC, and I loved it. And one of the more new and exciting things that they've added to this DLC is the Sentinel Hammer. This weapon, what you do is you slam it down and it adds more ammo, armor, and health drops to the enemies. And if you're really good enough, if you're fighting the Marauder, if you super shotgun him and then slam him with the hammer, you can stun him for even longer and kill him in one shot, man. That's right, you can kill the Marauder in one go if you have that Sentinel Hammer. It is incredibly hard to do, but I've seen it done, and it is really cool. So one thing I love in Doom Eternal, of course, is the platforming sections. And they've actually added grapple hook points. So you're kind of forced to use your super shotgun in some of these parts and kind of latch onto this orb and then swing yourself around, latch onto the next one, and then hop yourself way up onto the next platform. It's honestly, I just love it. Platforming in Doom Eternal is one of my favorite things, just to kind of kill the balance of intense demon killing. So just another nice way to spice up the game. But alright, that's pretty much covered it. We got all the new creatures talked about. We got the new weapon, the new platforming methods. We've pretty much covered it all. So I'm going to have to wrap this one up. And I guess you're probably going to know my score. That's right, 10 out of 10. I love the DLC. The conclusion to the Ancient Gods was awesome. I don't even know what they're going to do next because the story's just gone so out of control at this point. But I know that they got something up their sleeve, and whether or not it's going to be another Doom game or a second DLC for Doom Eternal in general, we'll have to see what the future holds. But 10 out of 10 for me. Play this game. Completing the story of Ancient Gods Part 2 made me feel complete. Awesome cutscenes with wicked demon killing and platforming sections, the addition of a new weapon, and all the new demons. This game is perfect.
The guys and I were live this week over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg. We were hanging out and playing some Rainbow Six Siege. Did Steve shoot us or the other team? Check it out. Nice. They're planting.
Planting?
Yeah. They're over here planting in smoke.
The bomb diffuser has been successfully deployed.
Crap.
Located the diffuser. Deploy it.
Right here?
I'm so flash, I can't even see anything. I see the diffuser, but I know they're watching it.
Yeah, I got another cam.
Yeah, there's two here. You're circling around, Kyle. Two to your left.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going after the diffuser.
Yeah, there's one guy right here.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Nice.
Who dropped that? Did someone else throw a smoke? Because it was right on that. I just hid in the smoke and diffused this thing.
That must have been them, man.
Yeah, we don't have smoke, right?
No, that's true. Yeah, it would have been them. Yeah.
Not the good kind.
Well, that was a good push, Kyle. You took him right out. I was like, yeah, perfect. All right, I'm in. I'm taking this thing down.
Okay.
Some SWAT team stuff, guys.
Yeah, it was good.
I'll go rookie and just protect myself.
You want the Kate again, Drew? I'm gonna do Blitz again.
Yeah, might as well. There's just so many soft walls here, man. It's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that bag of pretzels is calling me.
ASMR for our fans.
Secure the area.
Okay.
Alright.
Oh, this room sucks.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, I'll take Cade too.
Still 2 jacks, boys.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, no,
I got mine.
Stuff.
Op 4 located a bomb. Protect it. Ready to go. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds. Be advised.
Oh man,
a
it's
bomb
like,
location
where do you?
has been compromised. Bomb located by Op 4.
Oh man, I hate that.
I guess. Like really?
The bombs are way too spread out.
Yeah,
Oh
this,
yeah, it's tough to cover.
This is gonna be a hot window for sure. Nate, I got a proxy in that room, so door or window, you should be able to hear him.
I got company right here.
Oh, what's this? What's going on here, Kyle? Is this an unprotected door? I might just close it up. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh come on.
All right, I'm gonna go help Nate. You guys are rolling. Nate,
Callie,
in there. Left.
I'm with Nate.
She's in the window.
Oh, you're not you. All right.
No, you're fine. I don't.
I'm just floating. I'm floating. Support.
Oh, it got me. He's right in the corner, Drew.
Okay.
It's in the doorway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Blackbeard.
Window. Got him.
Nice kill, Kyle. Good.
Yeah, it's Blackbeard.
Quick reflex.
Oh, I don't. Maybe not. I don't know. It looked like he had a shield.
Swapping that!
So 2-2 left.
Oh, it is
wow.
Blackbeard. I got him in the
I'm heading over
shield.
to Drew.
Oh man, he jumped in though. God, I thought I had him. Oh, Corey. Oh, terrible shoot, man. Terrible shoot.
All right.
He's got like literally less than a quarter of his health left, like a quarter of the last
Nice
bar.
job, Kyle.
Okay, he went into the washroom. He's probably cycling around this way. No, he's in the washroom still. I can hear him. I feel like I'm yelling.
All right.
You're good. So good. You guys got this.
I just really want this MVP.
Yeah, you got it. Oh, you got it. Dig deep.
No. Nate will steal it from me, like always.
Oh, he did!
Yeah, that's what it was.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Oh.
46 points. By 46 points.
Oh!
See?
Kyle comes in next match and just shoots
Ran
Nate.
away.
Yeah, the timing of that couldn't have been better. They'd probably just swoop in and steal it from me. Pop, pop, pop. Game over.
Oh, man.
That'll wrap up this week's episode. Thank you for hanging out with us. And of course, you can be a part of the show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up on Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show, just like Mugs44 did. Sometimes you just can't fly in Red Dead. Until next week, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you inside the game.
Well, that's that.